group leaders, thanks again so much for click and play on this video. As we go through this series of videos, most likely you've already watched a couple of them, if not more. We are trying to answer the questions we anticipate that you might be asking about the path forward for our communities department and the vision that we have for this new ministry model. And in our previous videos, we've talked about community groups, we've talked about catalyst groups. Well, in this video in particular, I want to talk about care groups because every Sunday, week in and week out, we no doubt have people showing up at our church on the weekends that are looking for help because they're going through a distressing situation. Maybe they're going through a devastating situation. And we want to be the kind of church that slows down for people where they can reach out to us and say, hey, I just need prayer in this. I need a little bit of wisdom. I need a little bit of God's word. I need someone that can listen to what I'm going through. We want to be the kind of church that says, we hear you, we're with you, and we want to walk through this with you and provide the appropriate care so that you might get healthy, so that you might make it through this pain point in your life. And so care groups are going to be a really important function, not only in the overall ministry model of communities at Crossroads, but the overall ministry of Crossroads as an entire church. And so I want to just maybe ask a few questions that we anticipate that you might have and provide a few answers along the way. So the first question that we've been thinking about that you might have is, what are the expectations of a care group leader? Well, what we see care group leaders doing is we see them kind of building teams. Care group leaders are no doubt going to provide care for people that are in these groups, but we also want our care group leaders to almost approach this as if they're ministry leaders overseeing teams. So the care group leader needs to, on some level, be able to build teams and work with us as we help you to build those teams and equip other people to do work of ministry as the care group leaders kind of oversee the teams that they've created. A lot of care group leaders are likely going to have some life experience that lends to them having empathy and wisdom in the area where they are providing care as well. Doesn't always happen this way, but most likely a care group leader is going to say, you know what, I've been through a divorce, and so therefore I feel like I can speak into this and I can lead well this care ministry over divorce. So there's going to be some shared experience there. There's certainly going to be some life experience. And then also we kind of expect that our care group leaders are going to have some availability to provide follow-up for people when they reach out. Whether it is someone coming forward at the end of a sermon saying, I'm really struggling in my marriage, or I've just lost a loved one and I'm just grieving, or man, I just miscarried, or I'm struggling with my mental health, whatever it might be. We want our care group leaders that are overseeing those specific different areas to be able to at least receive the contact information from someone to say, hey, I can follow up with them. So we want some regular availability to be kind of an expectation for our group leaders to provide care and counsel ongoing. Another question might be, what kind of ministry will care group leaders provide? Obviously, we want them to be able to pray with folks. We want our leaders to be able to counsel with them, to give them ongoing support, maybe provide a listening ear. And just because you're a care group leader does not necessarily mean that you have to journey through every little situation for extended season with one individual, but we definitely want to be able to follow up with people that seek out prayer and care on a regular basis. Also, we want our care group leaders to be able to fulfill those gathering expectations for their groups. And again, if you don't know what the gathering expectations are for a care group, go back to the very first video in this series where we have laid those expectations out. But we're hoping and praying that our care group leaders will provide a little bit of God's word, a little bit of group discussion, and some prayer and ongoing care, and the ability to receive people no matter what time of the year it is, no matter what season it is. We want to be able to receive people that are going through tough times and provide some community and counsel to them. Another question might be, does a care group leader have to lead a care group every semester? And the quick answer to that is no, they don't. In fact, we kind of don't want our care group leaders to lead content and curriculum every semester because that just leads to burnout. That's where building teams comes into play. If a care group leader can build up a team of people that can carry some of that ministry load, the care group leader gets to pull back a little bit and oversee the team while others carry out the work of ministry. And so we definitely don't want a care group leader to feel like, man, I've been leading this content that's 8 weeks long for the last 4 semesters. That's just going to be too much to handle. We want to have teams that share in the responsibility of ministry and gain in the privilege of doing that ministry. So no, a leader doesn't have to lead the curriculum or content every semester. Another question might be, will care groups study the same curriculum every semester? I would say for most of our different types of care group, whether it's people looking for financial freedom, whether it's people looking for freedom over like sexual sin and addiction, whether it's people looking for help in their marriage or have just gone through a divorce or someone that has just lost a loved one, whatever it might be, we do have some suggested curriculum for those different types of groups. That doesn't mean that every semester they have to go through the same thing. They might be able to rotate curriculum that is appropriate for the needs of the people that are in those groups. Another question might be, when do care groups meet? I would say they meet during semesters, maybe in between semesters, or maybe even both. What we all know is that pain doesn't wait for convenient moments to rise up. People are going through tough times, whether it's in the middle of the semester or in between semesters. And so we want groups certainly to meet during the semester, but if groups that are care groups want to continue meeting even in between because they find so much comfort and so much support and they need it to be ongoing, if the group leader feels like that's appropriate, we certainly want to let care groups meet in an ongoing basis, but they're not necessarily expected to. So while care groups don't have to meet in between semesters, we definitely want them to have some on-ramps for people to get connected either to you as a care group leader or to groups that might be ongoing. And then maybe the last question might be this, and I'm sure that there's more questions as I'm talking through this. It might stir up even more, but something that we've thought of is, how do we find new care group leaders? How do we identify them? And I would just say that, man, sometimes God has a funny way of almost hand-delivering people. They just kind of surfaced, and God just says, here you go. This person has this life experience, and they have a passion to minister to others that are going through this particular season of life, and it's painful for them. And so sometimes God hand-delivers those leaders, and then other times they're developed. Sometimes they're delivered, sometimes they're developed. And so as a care group leader, we are asking those people, those leaders, to be trying to identify others in the group, others that are receiving care, to say, hey, maybe this person has what it takes to be a leader in the future, gives them leadership opportunities. So just care group leaders need to be able to kind of be watching and observing in order to identify and to raise up leaders in the future that can carry on the work of the ministry for that care group. And so those are just a few of the questions that we have thought of. Certainly, if you have more questions, you can email me at chris.standridge@crossroadswire.com. I would love to follow up with you and maybe provide some more answers to some questions that you might have about care groups in particular. But man, listen, some of the most important ministry that we do as a church will walk through pain points and pivotal moments of people's lives. And these care groups are going to be a really important part of that. And so we want to provide these, and we want to provide care for folks and love people well. And so hopefully this answers some of the questions that you have. So thanks for click and play, and make sure you check out the next video that we're going to offer that might give some answers to even more questions that you have about our new communities ministry model at Crossroads.